I think people are wrong about Superman. Not everybody, obviously, and not everything, and it's subjective, blah, blah, blah. But there's some things going on, like, you know, with the Superman movie, but also just the conversations around the Superman movie that I think are fucking wrong, okay? And I want to set the record straight. According to me, no, this shit is not true. So let's go through them. Number 5, the gun humor kills the film. Chat, have you heard this criticism? Have you heard this out there? Are you seeing people talk about this where people are saying, man, the James Gunn humor in this movie is killing it, or the gun humor or the silliness is holding the movie back? Have you heard this complaint? Yeah, of course. That's something people are saying, okay? Yes, from you. Hey, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Listen, I think I might be a person that is maybe one of the most primed to hate that shit, dude. To hate that shit. I was so worried about it. I fucking hate it. And I gotta tell you, didn't bother me at all. I don't know how to explain it. That's just authentically what it was. Like, I was ready every single time. I was ready to fucking hate it. You know, I thought it was going to stomp over the tone. I thought it was going to shortchange some of the moments. I think this is the most dialed back I have ever seen Gunn. And the thing that's crazy is, like, dude, I feel like people are just not going to give him credit for it. But, like, I fucking will. Because, again, that was the thing I was the most worried about. It was the thing I was the most worried about. And I'm telling you right now, it does not retract from the film. At least for me personally, I had zero problem with it whatsoever. Is there some goofiness? Yes. You know, a lot of people keep bringing up the Justice League Unlimited comparison. I think that's a good comparison because it is silly. Like, don't get me wrong. The tone of the film is silly. There's stuff going on that's like, you know, I feel like people just keep saying this like it's a comic book come to life, and that's like it's short change, or it's a phrase they're using to like try to articulate something that they can't quite articulate. But I get it because the movie has a sensibility of like the situation, the characters, the background that is not super serious. Like, it's not super serious, and yet I feel like it was right for the movie, and I feel like it's like it's a good ride. It softens some things. I truly did not think that it retracted away. There were a couple moments I couldn't fucking believe it where I laughed out loud in spite of myself. Okay, now we're trying not to do spoilers here, okay? Try not to do spoilers. But there's a spoiler out there with a hashtag. You guys know it. Everybody knows it in chat. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We talk about this. We complained about this. And I told people when I was in New York City, I told people about this. And I said, I hope it's cut. This is ridiculous. I don't want this in the movie, right? And I'm telling you, the first time it comes up, I laughed out loud, guys. I laughed out loud. And so did a lot of people in my theater. It kind of worked. Like, I'm telling you, it's a passing part of the film. It's not a big part of it, but the execution of it, I thought was actually pretty good. I thought it was actually pretty good. I can't fucking believe it. Dude, I'm telling you right now, not a lot of people are going to give him credit for this. He dialed it way the fuck back. He found a different kind of vibe. You know how, like, a lot of us have been like, what is this dude trying to... I've seen your, like, porno versions of superhero movies and shit. Like, James Gunn, I've seen the tweets. You know, no offense, but, like, I know... Like, it's always felt weird to me how he comes out there and he's, like, acting, like, fatherly and, like, you know, like, we're like, dude, I know who you are. Like, what is this? I get it now with the movie. Dude, guys, he actually took it fucking seriously. He, I think, worked against some of his better judgment, collaborated with other people, peeled it way the fuck back. Like, dude, I'm telling you, as somebody that was going to be super irritated by it, I was primed to fucking hate it, and I was on the watch for it, bro. I was watching out for it. the execution of this was so good that I've zero complaints about that aspect of it. Like I literally remember, and this might be a little telling for the experience of the film, because I want to get into that in a little bit too. Like, how did I actually view the movie? But there's a moment about 25 minutes into the film. I remember sitting there being like, dude, everybody's wrong. It's just not that good. Like, that was the thought I had. I was literally like, oh, dude, everybody's wrong. Like, the humor's ridiculous. Lex is too ridiculous. Nope. It's way too all over the place. Like, maybe a little bit of that, but not really. I just remember thinking, like, 25 minutes in, like, it's just not that good. But all the stuff people were saying were terrible. I don't see it. And then it got good. And then I was like, oh, shit. Now it's actually good. But we'll get there in a second. So that's like the fifth thing, is the James Gunn humor kills the movie. I could not disagree with that more. Number 4, this is something I think people are wrong about. Everybody's wrong about this. And that is that the marketing for this movie is great. No, it isn't. After seeing the film, holy shit. Do you guys know how, some of you brought this up before, but people like Robert Meyer Burnett had said that he talked to people that said the trailers were misdirection. Do you guys remember that? People were saying, like, the trailers are misdirection. And I'm like, I at the time, I had no idea what that could mean, right? I thought maybe it had something to do with plot leak, blah, blah, blah. Guys, what they're saying to you is the clip of them fighting when they're doing the interview, when you actually see that scene, it is so much more balanced and human and emotional and real than what you get in that trailer. Like, bro, that trailer fucked with me. Remember that? That trailer fucked with Robert Meyer Burnett. Remember, he came out and said, like, I'm excited for the movie, blah, 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 blah. But this is the wrong way to start the most important trailer you've done, et cetera, right? That trailer doing no favors to the movie whatsoever. But on top of that, guys, that moment in the one trailer or the teaser where the guy says, hello, loser, and then Clark says, you're a loser. And remember, like, most of us were like, oh, Jesus Christ. He doesn't even say that in the film. He doesn't even say that in the film. Bro, there are other things. There are other things in the trailer that are, I guess this is what I don't understand. Was there a version of the movie that was more like that was a little bit more gun, and maybe they were using that footage and they were putting it out there, and then maybe they changed it behind the scenes? Like, I guess that would be an explanation for it, because otherwise, dude, I think this is terrible fucking marketing. And by the way, this movie might not do well. This movie might only make like 500 million, which I think is a shame. Like, I think it deserves to do a lot better. And I'm sorry, did I spoil something? Sorry. I think it deserves to do well, and I think we're gonna have a different conversation if this thing really underperforms. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the marketing. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the clips. All of a sudden, I'm like, what the fuck? That seems crazy to me. So after having seen the film, I can tell you, I think people are wrong about the James Gunn humor. I think people are wrong that the marketing is good. And the next thing, I think people are wrong that the leaks were terrible, and then more to the point, that you should not read the leaks. Okay? Because here's the thing. We're not going to get into spoilers here. But basically, the leaks were 100% accurate. And they had been accurate for a long time. Okay? And people got a little bit mad at me for, like, talking about it or spreading it out there. And then I remember, there were just, some of you guys were saying, like, it's going to put a bad taste in your mouth. It's going to affect the way you experience the film. And all of that. And I got to say, I think my expectations were actually really properly set by knowing all of the leaks. And I think almost in every example of things I was worried about from the leaks, it's so much better in the actual movie. Like, literally almost everything that I was like, I don't know about that. I'm kind of questioning that. Oh, well, how could this work? How's that going to feel? Like, I'm talking every single one of those things is so much better in the movie. And so, I don't know. I feel like this was an example. It cuts a little bit similar to, and this is going to sound a little controversial, but Rise of Skywalker. In the sense that, like, the Rise of Skywalker leaks were so fucking accurate, dude. Like, the Rise of Skywalker leaks were like, oh my God, we know the whole fucking movie. And then when you saw it in the film, it was just as bad, if not worse, than what you had imagined when you were reading the leaks, right? Not the case with Superman. When I was watching Superman, I was like, oh my God. Everything that I read and the way that I had imagined it, dude, it's so much better in the film. It's so much better in the movie. So if you're a person that, you know, read the leaks or watched the video that we did on the leaks and you were like, that kind of sounds like shit, I'm here to tell you, I think all of it is actually done really well. And also, if you go in knowing that stuff, I actually think you're going to have a really good time, man. Like, we've talked about this so much. So many people have different ideas and flavor, you know, opinions about this. Some people think leaks and scoops are ruining fandom and all that. But the truth is, there's a reason people will often enjoy a film better the second time. And that's partially because they know what's coming. And so then they can actually just allow their brain to experience it a little bit in a better way, just to observe it. You know, maybe pick out little details that you missed before. You don't have to process it. You can just kind of enjoy it a little bit more. I think this is also why people like foreshadowing, right? To take it to that level, it's like people like, because there's some stuff in this movie that even if you don't know the leaks, like, it's a little heavy-handed with the exposition where they're like, there's a message. It soothes him. He really likes this. Hope it's not totally misunderstood by him and breaks his identity later on in the film. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff that's just, like, so fucking obvious. But at the same time, I can't help but just admit that the way it's executed, the way it hit me, was satisfying. It felt satisfying. And I think it's going to satisfy a lot of people, dude. Like, I think it's a true crowd pleaser because, like, you look at the leaks and you're like, man, this is, like, kind of contrived, like, kind of simple, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, it's a fun series of things to go through. Like, it's legitimately a fun series of events to go through. So that's the third thing people are wrong about. People are like, the leaks are terrible. Dead ass. People are like, the leaks for this movie are fucking terrible. And I always said, some of this sounds bad. Some of this sounds good. We gotta wait till we see it in the movie. Bro, they're dope. It's better than you would think. And I had a better experience because I knew. Okay? Now, number 2. This is something I think everybody's getting wrong, man. And it's probably not everybody, but I've seen this take out there a lot. Like, for instance, Scott Mendelsohn, and, you know, nothing against Scott Mendelsohn or whatever. But we talked about Scott's review yesterday, his social media review, and it seemed like it was, you know, on the pretty negative side. He came out and said that he was grateful that he waited 12 hours, and he was a lot more positive on the film. Gave it a 6 out of 10 with a fresh tomato. And by the way, we were correct when we said that the tomato score would potentially be high, but if you looked into the tomato score, the actual scores are a little bit closer, like 60, 70, which is interesting. But the tomato score looks great. It's really good. I don't know where it's at. Let's look. Where's it at exactly right now? It was like 85. Yeah, 85. That's fucking solid as fuck, okay? So, this is the thing. When Scott Mendelsohn said that he had decided to give it a more positive score, one of the things he said was because it was, like, overtly political. And everybody's talking about these countries, and everybody's talking about how it's a political movie, and there was the gun comments that get pulled out. And I think a lot of people just see what they want to see in it. But I'll tell you this. I don't think this thing's fucking political at all. I think this is apolitical while being, like political in the sense of the story. It actually reminds me a lot of Thunderbolts in that sense. Where Thunderbolts is a movie that's like, it's like strictly political because it's like senators, packets, you know, committees, all that stuff. Like it's on Capitol Hill, like it's inherently political, and yet it's not political in the sense that it's speaking to allegories of our current political situation or anything like that. I feel very similar to Superman. Like Superman is like, they're going to talk about the Secretary of State, the president, councils, other world leaders, you know, delicate issues. But they're actually, I don't think they're getting political at all in the film. Like, I just got to be honest, man. I think that's something people are getting wrong. And I also think it's kind of a shame because I think there's some people trying to say that almost as a way to like, say like, hey, just so you know, this movie's going to try to teach you a lesson or some shit. And it is, but it's not a political lesson. It's an apolitical message. And I think that's good. So I think that's another thing that people are getting wrong. So I think people are wrong about the gun humor. People are wrong that it was marketed well. I think people were wrong that the leagues were terrible. I think people were wrong that it's a political film. And then the final thing that I want to say here, I want to push back on this idea that it's a comic book come to life, okay? I'm not trying to be a dick, but I see this all over the place. Everybody's saying it. It's a big part of the narrative around this film. And I want to push back on that, actually. But the only reason I want to push back on it is because I think there's an underlying part of that statement that is to suggest that it's not for normies. I think inherent to that statement when people are like, it's a comic book come to life, or it's the most comic booky movie I've ever seen in my fucking life. I think what people are really trying to say is, in a sense, it's catered to certain sensibilities and therefore inaccessible if you don't have those sensibilities. In a way, what people are saying is it's not going to activate normies or your average people the same way that it would a nerd. Guys, I think that is so the wrong message for this movie. Dude, the people that love this movie, you're fucking it up. You're fucking it up. You are fucking this thing up. Because that's not what the message should be. Okay? Here, let me give you one example of why I think this is not true. I have never in my life felt the need or had the desire to watch a comic book movie with my dad. Okay? Never. You know, I do this for a living. I get excited for some movies. I get really excited for some movies. But like, take No Way Home for an example. I love No Way Home. Okay? And I think it's a damn good movie. I think it's better than most people give it credit for. But if I think about like how, or like, why am I excited for No Way Home? And how could I even explain that to my dad? Okay? Like, let me give you an example of how that conversation goes. Oh, hey, Dad, new Spider-Man movie. Do you remember how there were other Spider-Man movies? I mean, I guess. Do you want to go see a movie where all the Spider-Man movie are in the same movie? No, I don't. What? You see what I mean? Like, he's not, that's not going to do anything for him. I wouldn't even bring it up. That is a comic book thing. Having multiple versions of the same character from different universes and shit, that's a comic book thing. That's a comic book come to life. That's like, yeah, maybe not, unless you can kind of let go of some of these things that you like about other movies and shit like that. And by the way, that movie did actually amazing, right? And it obviously activated a lot of normies as well. But I'm just saying, like, this whole idea that the movie is, I think people are overselling that. I actually think this movie, as I'm saying, I actually want to go see this film with my dad. This is a movie that I don't think I need to, like, explain shit or translate anything or try to, explain to my dad the intricacies of the DC universe. I don't think you need to know any of that. I don't think you need, like, I actually think, and especially because when I saw it in the crowd yesterday, like, people were loving it, bro. Like, people were just loving it. I think normies will love this movie. And I don't think it has maybe some of the issues that an overly comic booky kind of a film would have. So I actually think people are wrong about that too. You know, and I kind of wanted to push back against that narrative. And that's 5 fucking things that I think people are getting wrong about Superman. So thanks for watching. And if you like this clip, smash a like on the actual video and subscribe to this channel. That way more of these clips get into your feed. I've also linked the full episode below if you want to check out the entire thing, including the Q&A we do with fans. You can also watch this show live. We do it live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And you can also find all of my content, including the videos I put on my main YouTube channel, on the podcast feed.